Good morning.
Morning.
And welcome to the Highlands. When you think of the Highlands of Scotland, what comes to mind? Like the weather changing every 10 minutes.
Wildlife, lochs, mountains.
There are a lot of mountains and lochs and wildlife. We have like red deer in our garden every day. It's ace, and roe deer, and we see badgers and red squirrels and pine martens and eagles and buzzards. Sean had a close encounter with a beaver the other night, didn't you?
Not likely.
That'd be a right vlog, wouldn't it? What about wolves, though?
No.
Or wolves. We should call them wolves because that really annoys Peter Pedantic, doesn't it? And his crew.
It does. There used to be wolves.
And sheeps and geesers. There did used to be wolves.
Yes.
I feel a story coming on.
Really?
Yeah, or it might be gas. It might be gas, actually.
Yeah, definitely gas or wind.
Oh. Do you fancy an adventure? Jeep! What was I saying about the weather changing every 10 minutes? Look at the cloud coming over the hill.
I know, it's lovely and sunny over there.
We should have gone over there and filmed it, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Many, many years ago, there would have been tens of thousands of grey wolves roaming around here.
What, just Loughborough?
No, across Highland Scotland. And Scotland and England and into Europe and America too. Loads of them. And the grey wolf could grow to about 2 metres long.
Wow.
Standing a metre high at its shoulders.
It's like a horse.
It could weigh 40, 50 kilos.
Like me.
And they could run about 35 miles an hour or a bit more. You wish you weighed 40 or 50 kilos. Its jaw had twice the strength of a German shepherd. Now, you won't see any wolves nowadays.
No.
They're all in the zoos. But because the area was so sparsely populated back then, I mean, it still is now. On average nowadays, there's only about 22 people per square mile of the Highlands.
Really?
But that's an average. So you can get to some parts of the Highlands, like where we are, where you might get one person per square mile or only one person per 100 square mile. And that's why the wolves were able to roam freely. They were very, what's the word, not fondant?
Fondant fancy.
Abundant. Because it was so sparsely populated. Now, the wolves would mainly feast on cattle and deer.
Yeah.
They could eat up to 10 kilos of meat in one meal.
Like me.
Nearly as much as you, isn't it? Nearly. Keep it coming. It was very rare for them to attack humans. It was very rare. They weren't really known for it. But there were stories starting to emerge up here in Sutherland of travellers being attacked. So they started building special buildings, protective buildings, where travellers would be coming, called spittals.
Spittle?
At the side of the road. Not the A9, because I don't think the A9 was about back in the 1500s. What they were well known for was digging corpses out of graves and eating the dead flesh.
Oh my lordy.
And it became such a problem, especially here in Scotland, that people would start burying the dead on little islands away from the mainland so that the wolves couldn't get to them. And if they couldn't do that, they'd be burying bodies in flagstones. So they'd be making coffins out of like flagstones to stop the wolves from getting at them. By 1577, James VI, who was the King of Scotland at the time, same time as that King Dick of Wigan was about, and King James VI's buddies were getting onto him because the wolves were starting to decimate. There you go. I've been saying domino all day and it's actually decimate.
Ain't that coconut? Decimated coconut?
Desiccated coconut. The wolves were decimating the cattle of his best buddies.
Right.
And they were begging the king to do something because they were losing all the cattle to the wolves.
Right.
So King James VI decided to make hunting the wolves compulsory. And 3 times a year they'd go out on hunting missions during cubbing season and kill as many wolves as they could.
Wow.
Interesting, eh? Just off topic, do you fancy a little trip to that lay-by we like? I want to show you something big and hard. Once King James VI had given the order for the compulsory hunting and killing of wolves, for the next 100 years, thousands of them were wiped out. And about 100 years later, so 1680, was the date where they thought the last one had been killed. Sir Ewan Cameron is said to have killed the last wolf.
Wow.
At Killiecrankie, which is near the Cairngorms. I expected a laugh at that. But was it actually the last one? Well, I said I wanted to bring you down to this lay-by to show you something big and hard, didn't I? Well, there it is. It's called the Wolf Stone. And if you believe what's written on it, it claims that the last living wolf was actually killed right here by a hunter called Paulson. And that was about 20 years after Sir Ewan Cameron is said to have killed the one in Killiecrankie. So is this the last one? Well, a lot of historians actually disagree with that, and they think the last one was killed in 1743, 43 years after this one,
Right.
at Findhorn in Moray, after it had killed a couple of children.
Wow.
So, were they the last ones? The problem with history is that the further back you go, the less reliable the records and information is.
Yeah.
So you're relying on stories from generations gone by and legends and things like that. So you don't know how much of it to swallow, to take with a pinch of salt maybe. We know that there were definitely wolves around here because only about 4 years ago, a digger driver at Rogout, which is just a few miles down the road, uncovered a really well-preserved wolf. It was only a young wolf.
Wow.
And it had been preserved in the acidic peat. It was only about a metre down. You could actually make out the teeth, and it still had fur on its skull and on its leg.
Wow.
There are sightings of wolves right up until the late 19th century, but you don't know, again, whether they were wolves. They might have just been hunting dogs.
Possibly, yes.
I know when Otis gets off his lead, he's off. You know what I mean? I mean, you wouldn't really mistake him for a wolf, would you?
A blonde wolf.
A lot of people would like to see wolves reintroduced into the wild in Scotland. And there's arguments on both sides, really.
Yeah.
A lot of farmers would like to see wolves back because they control the population of deer. And the deer have basically tripled since about 1960.
Yeah, there is a lot.
And to the farmers, the deer can cause a bit of hassle because they eat the crops and they eat young trees, so you don't get trees growing. And there are a lot of them, and they have to hunt them themselves already. So some farmers think that introducing wolves, it would cut the deer population by about a half. So it saves them time and money hunting the deer. But by having less deer, you have more trees, which introduces more wildlife and more crops. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
From that point of view. But then you've got some farmers that are scared that they would eat the cattle. They'd basically hunt the cattle, which they don't want. And although some people think it might be good for tourism, can you imagine being in a flimsy tent in the middle of the Highlands somewhere and a pack of wild wolves are suddenly surrounding your tent?
Not a chance.
So there's arguments on both sides, and I'm not going to pretend that I know the facts and the answers. I mean, I just look at the arguments that people make, and
Yeah.
as much as I'm for rewilding in Scotland, I'm not going to get involved. That's an argument between the farmers and the government.
The government.
Yeah, nothing to do with us. Mate, you get your own conclusions from all that.
Are we done?
It's a busy week this week, isn't it?
It's been busy.
He still hasn't had his dinner.
No, I'm...
5:15 now.
I want to be dinner 4 hours ago.
We hope you've liked this little bit of history. Been a bit different this week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
If you have, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. Hit the thumbs up button for us. And if you hit the dangly bell, YouTube will let you know every time we release a new vlog, which is 4 o'clock on a Friday.
Can I stop yet?
You can stop now. And we will see you next time. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Ta-ra.
Today we're starting the vlog next to the fridge because it's closest to the beer. Do you fancy us? Nearly
See?
had that one. I ain't heard that one before. Why do I keep saying that? And
He says it won't take long to do this. 5 hours. It's 8 o'clock at night now.
That may be beyond my abilities at the moment.
How many times have I heard that?
He's moved the camera to do it all again. 8 times we've done this weather.
Standing a shoulder high at the meter. What was I saying about the weather changing every 10 minutes? 3, 2, 3.
Go on.
Have you finished? 3, 2. You tell me when you're ready. It's starting to rain.
It's because we've been here a week doing this.
Roaming. The ooh. Up your
And then you'll get home and say, I'm hungry. Be tea time, not lunchtime when we've done.
Do you ever shut up moaning? Now, we're getting good by the wolves.
Getting what?
Gueered, but the G's silent. I want to show you something big and hard.
Oh my God! I might have died of starvation by the time we finish
Will
this.
you shut up about your stomach?
Past me nap time as well. I'm still hungry, getting hangry.
10 green bottles hanging on the wall.
He wants to wait for no traffic. We're on the A9, people.